Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a new vlog. We are sitting currently in my car in Bend, Oregon, cozying up, trying to get warm. It is almost 9 a.m. and I'm out and ready because this is my last day here in Oregon for the holidays before I'm heading back. Today's Wednesday, and tomorrow at 5 a.m. I am flying back to New York. So I have several things that I want to get done here before I leave, such as my annual tradition of coming down to the waterfront and parking and reading my 2020 or my previous year's goals and like my reflections last year in my journal, and then kind of thinking about 2024. So I wanted to vlog that a little bit with you guys. And also, I mean, I just have like other errands that I want to get done. I'm also going to get my nails done this morning. It's been a month plus since I got them done. I got them done here last at Thanksgiving. So we're gonna get these refreshed. Yeah, I need to like do laundry and pack and stuff too, but these are the fun things. I'm gonna go get coffee before I do the journaling thing. I'm actually not gonna do it right now. I just parked. I kind of wanted to just like get out early and drive around before my appointment. It's at 9:30. I don't really have time to like do the full in-depth thing, so I think I'm just gonna start it and then go to my appointment and come back here after to like write about 2024 and start brainstorming. I've been doing a little bit of like Pinteresting and trying to come up with a vision board. I just feel like it's interesting looking back on a year ago when I was here and thinking about 2022 and just like how much of a shit show 2022 was for me, at least the second half. Like I would say, usually I talk about this in these videos, but usually I feel like the years follow a very loose pattern of, and I've talked about this so many times that if you watched me in these videos in the past, you're probably so sick of hearing it. But I feel like there's a pendulum that goes back and forth between like a year of growth and expansion and doing new things and meeting new people, and then it will swing back and it's more of a year of like dwindling down, narrowing down those things that really matter to you and your values, and the things that aren't meant to be there fall away more, and it feels like you're losing things, but really it's like for the best eventually, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way in the moment. I would say that I feel like that pattern does apply. It just really doesn't stick to like the calendar year, obviously. I think what I noticed, especially between 2022 and 2023, is my year of growth in 2021, it really started like in the second half, once people were out and doing things more again in the spring and summer. And that went until like the second half of 2022. So the first half of 2022, I'd say was still like a year of growth. I was still like thriving, loving life, doing new things, traveling. And then it was like halfway through 2022 is when I, ended my job contract and had a really hard time finding a new one, as we know, and went through a breakup and all that stuff. And that was like the second half of 2022. And last year at this time, when I was reflecting on 2022, that was like the fresh part in my mind. And I was like, this was such a year of refinement, like all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But looking back, like hindsight is always 2020 or 2022. I really feel like that started in the second half, and it wasn't the entire year, and then it went into a big chunk of 2023. Like looking back at 2023, I feel like it was still a year of refinement in some ways. Like I was growing and doing new things, but I think a lot of it was still very challenging, and a lot of it was kind of like overshadowed by this job search. I just felt like I'd been sitting still for the second half of 2022 essentially, and then that went into 2023. And the first thing I wrote about 2022 was, it really ... could have gone better, LMAO. This is also something I wrote at the end of 2022. Sometimes the chapters of your life won't have titles until much later. I didn't like come up with that. That's something that I read years ago. And I'm still working on having the patience not to jump to naming the chapter before it's done unfolding. But I can tell it will serve me, and I'm glad. Oh, well, that's something personal. I'm choosing to believe with absolute certainty that the good things are on their way and that they're already mine, blah, 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 kind of stuff. And I wrote, what goes up must come down, and vice versa. So I think it's just kind of like that pattern of recognizing that shit has to hit the fan for you to like appreciate the good things. And I think it felt like it was taking so long for me that I was like, no, we're gonna get to this other side. Anyway, so bottom line, I don't want to dwell on the negativity, but I really do think that that like bled into a lot of my 2023, and I had a lot of those really hard moments where like this time last year I was in the mindset of like, okay, well I've been, you know, dealing with this for the last few months and it's been challenging, but because it's the new year, like the good thing must be right around the corner and the new opportunity and the blah blah blah. And you know what, life just like doesn't unfold on the timeline that you think. Like just because you think it's time and you're overdue and you've learned your lesson, like that's not necessarily how it's gonna work out. So for a good chunk of 2023, like I've talked about, like I had some really depressive moments and I really was like questioning, you know, what I was doing and why I was like putting energy into things that weren't putting energy back into me, you know? What I'm getting at, long story short, is I feel like this year of refinement was more than a year, or at least it just didn't line up with the calendar year, and it was more like the second half of 2022 and the first, I'd say 2/3 of 2023. And that's not to say that it wasn't a great year overall, and I had some great moments. Like I was looking back at videos and I was going through, because I need to post my 2023 lowlights on Instagram. I was looking back at some old pictures and videos and stuff, and I was looking at all of these like great little moments that I had, especially with like my friendships this year. I feel like I really leaned on my friends this year and cultivated really strong, close friendships. I got to watch both of my best friends get married and like travel with them and spend a lot of time with them. Looking back in the like granular moments, I had so many moments of like joy, happiness among them. You're always gonna wait for the next big thing to happen. You don't recognize how important the small things that are happening in the meantime are. So I feel like it was a great year, but I put so much of my focus on this like, I need to find the perfect job for me thing that I kind of overlooked those in the moment. But looking back, like I really did have a good year and I have so much to be grateful for. The last 3 months of the year really have been such a shift, and yes, I got this new job that's like perfect for me, and I haven't even talked about it that much. Like I was planning on in my DC vlog doing more of like a reflection and talking about, you know, how it felt to be in the office and stuff, but then I got sick, especially being there and being in the office in DC. And I know I have a lot of conflicting feelings about this move too, which is a big thing going into 2024. We were all just like chatting and laughing, and I just felt like instant friends with them already. Like I just felt so comfortable and at ease, and also just like having meetings, like all team meetings and stuff like that, like reflecting on the past year and everything that everyone else is doing and the work and the direction that we're going. Like I just felt so at peace with like how the situation ended up, and I just feel so much excitement for the future of like, I've only been in this job for what, 2 months now, and there's just so much ahead of me, and like looking forward to 2024 and everything that we're gonna get to do. And I'm just so excited about the work that I'm doing, the people that I'm doing it with, which made me feel a lot better about like uprooting my life again and moving to DC, which is not the biggest move ever, and I've lived there before, as we know, but still, like I think it's easy to get hung up on the like what you're leaving behind in big changes like that, and that's all I've been focusing on. I think it was important for me to kind of have that glimpse of like, you're not just like leaving something behind, you're going towards something new, and there is so much good that's going to come from that. So I'm looking forward to that in 2024. Looking at these pages, like I wrote so much about just like feeling the same way, and I just felt so stagnant and stuck for so long, and I'm very grateful that finally, like with the job, with the turning over this new chapter, with this like looking forward to starting something new in 2024, like continuing that, I just feel like everything worked out for a reason. I feel like I'm on the other side of that finally, and like I have all of these good things in my life and good things that I'm looking forward to that came from a season of challenge and not getting what I wanted when I wanted it. And that's life, and that's where we learn, and that's where there was a lot of growth in that, even though I call it like the year of refinement or whatever. The last few months have been swinging in this direction of growth and growing in my job, traveling, and just kind of like preparing for this new chapter. And I very much look forward to having a year of growth in 2024. So we'll see. Again, you can't always predict it. The word of the year that I took was emerge, I think. I was kind of looking for like renewal, evolution, like evolve was a word I was considering, emerging from that kind of like cloudy, stagnant phase. That's how it felt, at least. It's just so funny to like read through these journal entries. Oh my god, Oh my god, you guys, this is so weird. Okay, I also very much got into astrology and like moon cycles and everything this year, like more than I have in the past. I've always been like a skeptic at heart, just that's how I am. And I don't know, like I do this with a grain of salt, but like it's kind of interesting to like lean into it. And so I journaled on July 17th and I wrote new moon in Cancer, because I would get these on my TikTok page all the time of like, this is a new moon and this is where your fresh start, blah blah blah. And in the phase where I was like, I need this, like this is the thing for me. And I literally writing this for 27 December 2023, which is the full moon in Cancer. So this is like the opposite one, which was, I think it was last night, but I wrote December 27th. I don't know, someone on TikTok probably told me to write this. But you guys, today is December 27th, 2023. What the hell? And I completely forgot that I did this. I was just flipping through my journal. Okay, some of this might be personal, so I'm gonna start reading it and see how much I want to actually share. But these are like, I wrote different sections of my life and how I wanted to feel in them on December 27, 2023. Oh my god, this is so weird. Okay, emotional. I feel constantly in touch with my emotions. I feel free to express them, whether to others or to myself, and honestly, I let my emotions out in a healthy way and I don't play mental gymnastics in order to bend and manipulate them. I feel like I really have gotten more in touch with my emotions. That was more of a theme like in 2022 for me. That was like a big hurdle that I had dealt with, especially after going to therapy for the first time and everything. And it's still been a constant journey. It hasn't been as much of a focus for me this year, but I do think that it's just like more natural to me, and I do recognize my emotions, especially like after going through this time of like always being down, not always, but being down a lot more. I was a lot more like honest and tried to process that. And I do think that this is true. Maybe not like to the fullest extent, but I do feel like I'm in touch with my emotions and like not denying them or trying to, you know, tell myself I feel differently in ways that I have in the past. Physical, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel in tune with my body. My body image doesn't control me or my mood. I feel strong and glowing. I better understand what my body thrives on and agrees with, more in tune with hormones. Skin feels the best it's ever has, even in winter. I don't know about that. I appreciate my health and my abilities. I would say this is like mostly true. I do feel like I haven't been as focused on like health and fitness in the past 6 months. I just feel like this job thing has been a lot of my mental space, but I have been working out like for my mental health and also to feel good. I haven't been super consistent. I don't know, I guess I would say like part of this is true. Walking more, being more active, and not putting so much pressure on like heavy lifting sessions in the gym and super regimented workouts. And I do it more in like a way that fits into my lifestyle, but I do think I could be more intentional with it also like in the new year. So I'd say this is like semi-true. Okay, here we go. There's the occupational section. How I want to feel on December 27th. I feel intellectually stimulated. I can spell intellectually. I misspelled it when I first wrote it and I was like, that is so ironic and funny. I can spell the word intellectually. Okay. I feel challenged and motivated when I wake up each day by the feeling that I'm making things incrementally better for others. I'm actively creating and putting my unique ideas and perspectives out into the world through my work. I feel fulfilled. Why am I crying? So now it's supposed to be emotional. Okay, I need to stop. I also need to go to my nail appointment. I feel fulfilled and like my work is making an impact, and I'm proud to, whatever, I don't want to share that part. Yes, like I actually feel those things, and like I was just saying about this job, like yes, I waited so long and I do feel all these things. Like I genuinely feel like I wake up and I'm excited to like log on and work, which I know it's because it's new partially, but also just like I feel so inspired by the work that I'm doing, and like I feel like I'm contributing something new, and like in team meetings and things, like I feel excited to share my ideas and they're welcomed and like embraced and whatever. Like I am actually very aligned with this, which is great. Oh my god, there's a lot of these and I need to go, so I might have to continue this later. Okay, social, I wrote, I feel very connected to my community and in touch with people from a variety of chapters of my life. I'm inspired by the people I surround myself with and feel supported in my goals. I'm vulnerable with those who I trust, and I'm excited by continuing to expand my social circle and diversify who I spend time with. Yeah, I would say this is true. I definitely think I could be better about like being close with people from a variety of chapters of my life, I guess I would say. I don't know, I feel like this is always like a constant goal for me. Like I always want to be making new connections and friends and deepening friendships. I would say socially, like I have expanded my social circle. I do feel like I'm inspired by the people I surround myself with and feel supported in my goals for sure. I need to go and then I'll finish this afterwards because I have 4 more categories. I have spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and financial. So, wow, I can't believe I literally wrote to myself on this day and I didn't even remember it and then I was filming this. How crazy is that? So you guys should do this. I don't remember what the, like, if I saw a certain TikTok with these prompts or what it was, but I love the idea of writing in the first person of like what you want to feel in the future, because you can't control what you're gonna have and what your circumstances are gonna look like necessarily. Resonate with this feeling that I wanted for myself 5 months ago, whenever this was. Wow, that was great. Okay, I feel so inspired just because it's like things like this, like having reflection in certain chapters of your life, or you know, benchmarks, or even if it's just a random day, like the new moon in Cancer on July 17th, whatever it is, but having a time where you sit down and like take stock of how you feel now and how you want to feel in the future, and then look back at that, like it's so helpful and just like reminds yourself that you're moving even if you feel like you're standing still. So I'll catch up with you guys after. Whew, my camera's probably gonna be dead. Okay, just got my nails done. Did a little like red French tip. I'm not obsessed. I'm back after my nail appointment. I got little red tips. They are not exactly how I pictured them, but that's okay. And then I went to a little coffee shop near the place that I got my nails done, and I think it opened recently. My mom was telling me about it. It's like in an apartment building, and it was really cute. I got a cardamom cappuccino. That's like my favorite thing to get. I've been on a cardamom kick for a while, and I don't know if it's because of the popularity of ocean rolls around here, but which is like a cardamom bun that they make at a local bakery. But a lot of coffee shops have cardamom flavoring, and it's so good in coffee. So if you go to a coffee shop and they have cardamom, try it. So that's been like my thing, especially on this trip, is a cardamom oat cappuccino. So I've been sipping on this. It's getting cold now because I've been sitting here pondering and journaling for a while. So basically what I did is I came back to this parking lot. I'm in the same spot that I was earlier, and I went there and read the rest of my journal entries from the entire year. What's crazy about journaling is not only like remembering the what and writing about what you did and what happened on certain days and whatever, but I think what I appreciate most about it is like really capturing the how you felt in that moment, and reading back because you lived it and you were there. You really feel the feelings again, in a sense, but in a different, like more reflective way. Like I look back on reading some of these entries and I just want to like give myself a hug. And then I just went through, and I always do like a couple pages at the end of the year just reflecting. So I just did that, and I always like to kind of like read my entries before doing that. I'm trying to like wrap it up in a little bow, which is what I always try and do at the end of the year. And I like using labels and words to be like, this was a year of blank and blah blah blah. But I think 2023 especially, and also 2022 looking back, really just proved that, like, I mean, and that's just life, like nothing is, you can't just like discern one word that encapsulates everything, because there are so many ups and downs and variety of feelings and phases and challenges and exciting moments and all of those things. Like I feel like 2023 was really a whole mix of everything, and it was very positive and very negative at sometimes, and it was very challenging but also so rewarding at sometimes. And it was really, I feel like it tested me in a way that I haven't been tested before. I would say also 2022, I feel like they're kind of just meshed together, like end of 2022, 2023, as I was saying earlier. So I'm kind of referring to both of those. And then I'm gonna take the next few days to like do some Pinteresting and also brainstorming and thinking about goals for the next year, and then talk about that later. This has been very good and just makes me feel so accomplished in a way, even though I haven't even done that much. But I feel like it was so much internal ego checks this year, and just like realizing that nothing is promised to you, and you know, no one owes you anything, and life is really just like what you are persistent at and make for yourself. And I don't know. And also it's all a game of chance and privilege too. So it's kind of like life is chaotic. I guess this is my summary of 2023 is life is chaos. I'll read like one paragraph that I wrote. I feel like my writing is so personal, and especially like journaling. Like I do share more than I would like to in some senses that probably doesn't feel that personal to other people. But to me, when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, this is so vulnerable in a way. But you know, vulnerability is good. So I was kind of talking about how there was good and bad, growth, refinement. It was like ups and downs, and they can all exist in the same year, on the same plane, even in the same breath, and they do. And maybe I can't tie this year up in a little bow with a perfect all-encompassing label like I so often want to, but maybe that's the beauty of it. 2023, a year of growth and refinement, frustrated tears and endless laughter, boring first dates and genuine connections, weeks I want to erase and days I'll never forget, stretches of stagnancy and moments of massive momentum, alliteration much, dark days and silver linings. On New Year's Day 2023, I didn't know truly what I was walking into or what was waiting for me on the other side. But on January 1st, 2024, I feel purpose in my step, direction in my steering, and hope in where I'm going. And I finally feel like I've gotten control over this ship of my life that's been navigating blindly through a storm for the year before. And although I may not have a map, I am confidently moving forward, onward. So yeah, like cheesy shit, but I don't know. I don't like to like overthink what I'm writing when I'm journaling, or like overthink how other people are going to perceive it or how my future self is, because that's so easy to fall into. So whatever, you can judge me if you want on my writing, but it's just like I just kind of let myself free write, and that makes me feel the best. I feel very at peace at this new year, I think is where I've landed. And I'm very excited for all to come. Hopefully this like inspired you to do some reflection at the end of the year, like maybe give you an idea of ways to frame it for yourself, like these categories that I wrote. I definitely think I'll do this again going into 2024, like these different social, spiritual categories and how I want to feel in 6 months. Like I really like that. Okay, the spiritual one, this is interesting. So this is what I wrote in July about what I wanted to feel today. I said, I'm curious about developing my own unique relationship with spirituality and the role it plays in my life. I continue to question and challenge where I get my values and broader motivation in life from. I'm happy to detach from traditional or religious notions of spirituality in order to embrace it for myself and my life. I feel like that's true. Like I do feel like I've become more spiritual this year in a way that I would always kind of like, not scoff at, but I was very much like a not spiritual person for a lot of life, or maybe I was, but I wouldn't like think of it that way. I've always had like this traditional view of spirituality that is not necessarily how it has to be, and that's kind of what I was writing here. Like I want to find a way that spirituality fits into my own life and works for me. I do feel like I found that like I am more open to that kind of thing and like having more trust in the universe kind of, and it's a very personal thing that might not like make sense to talk about even, but I do think that I am kind of on that journey still. But again, it's not natural for me. I'm such a like logical skeptic person, so it is like a little bit more of a challenge, but it's like just about being more open and listening to other ideas and people's perspectives on it and kind of like adopting what makes sense for me. That's kind of what I was getting at, which I do feel like I'm doing. Okay, intellectual. I said, I'm motivated and inspired to exercise my mind and intellect outside of just in my career. I'm excited to learn more constantly and never feel satisfied or complacent with what I know. I'm fascinated by the books I'm reading, which help me shift my perspective on things or learn new info through nonfiction. I feel more confident in my foreign language knowledge and continue practicing. Okay, I may not have advanced and learned an entire new language, but you guys, I am on, let's see what my streak is. This is like not even that impressive probably to some people, but this is good for me. On my Duolingo, I'm on day 67 of French. So I'm learning. I am trying to like just keep up in small ways, and it doesn't have to be this huge undertaking to like learn an entire new thing or read an encyclopedia every day. I want to keep learning, so whether that's Duolingo, which is an easy way to start learning a language, or reading nonfiction books, or attending random talks and things like that, like I think it is good to always challenge yourself that way. So I do feel that way. I do feel that I'm doing this. I could do more. I want to read more nonfiction in 2024. I've been reading nonfiction, but more like memoir style, not necessarily like information. So we'll maybe do that a little more. This is a big one. Environmental. I wrote, I do not feel that my identity is attached to one singular environment, and I'm grateful for the chance to see new places and explore new settings. I feel refreshed in my own home environment instead of trapped in my own prison of stagnancy. I'm so dramatic in these, please ignore. I appreciate new areas of my city, I wrote. Okay, interesting. I think that's a big one that I think I'm continuously grappling with and will continue to take into 2024, especially like I don't feel that my identity is attached to one singular environment. I didn't see myself moving when I wrote this, but now that I am moving, and again, it's like not that big of a move, I'm only going a couple hours away to a city I've lived in before. But I think that it has been such a thing of like New York being tied into my identity in a sense. And I think that's like part of my hesitancy about leaving. But I think it's good to continue keeping this in mind in the sense of like where you are isn't who you are, and your sense of identity, like you are who you are wherever you are, you know what I mean? And then the last one's financial, and I honestly think I'm just gonna keep this to myself because it is just so personal. Everyone's situation's different. I don't think this will help anyone. It's about feelings and not necessarily like numbers, but like feeling in control and knowledgeable about investing, financial health, and other ways of like diversifying income and investments and stuff. So I don't know, I feel like I could always be better, but I have gotten some great tools this year. So yeah, so that is my new moon in Cancer writing. I feel like these are ones that I could keep working towards, honestly. Like I really like where I was going with them, but I do think I could do a new set of them in the new year. I'm still brainstorming for 2024, and I'm thinking for word of the year. I still like to do that even though the year can't be like narrowed down to one word, but just in terms of like my intention of what I want to focus on, I'm kind of moving towards like create, expand, being more output oriented than like consumption oriented. Something like that. Creation, explore, I like the word explore, forward, onward, advance, expand, expanding, growing, creating, something like that. So we'll keep that in mind. I'm gonna kick around a few words and then we will touch base later. Cheers to 2023. This is a good place to wrap it up, and I will chat with y'all later. I'm gonna go home and have some brunch with my fam and work on our puzzle and do some laundry and get prepped to head back. Okay, let's go. It is Friday. I unpacked half my suitcase last night when I got back, but I need to do the other half and get my life together a little bit today. I mean, I'm not trying to be like the most productive right now. It's gonna be another beautiful day outside. It's gonna be like 50 degrees, I think. I'm gonna go hang out with my friend later that I haven't seen in a while and go maybe do some like holiday things, like go see some Christmas trees, just because I didn't get to do that because I got sick. But I am gonna have a fun day, but I want to do a little bit more of my like goal setting and Pinteresting kind of stuff. So I'm gonna vlog that for you guys. This courtyard is so cute though. Like even if it wasn't Christmas, to just like come out here and eat your lunch. I wish I lived at this hotel. Hello everyone. It is December 31st. The fact that I had to look at the calendar for that, it's New Year's Eve. Today is the last day of 2023. It's kind of gotten to that phase where like, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, because usually I feel like people say the opposite, but to me when people say 2023, it like feels outdated because I'm hearing 2024 so much already that I'm like, wait, you mean last year? And it's still 2023. So the last 7 hours just commenced. It's 5:04 p.m. I have a couple hours honestly till I need to be ready, so I'm kind of chilling. I just wanted to have plenty of time to get ready, and especially like for some sort of event, I just feel like I take twice as long and I don't like to feel rushed. So it's 5 o'clock, half my makeup is done. I'm going to my friend's place at 7:30 to pregame, and then we have a party that we're going to at like 9-ish. It starts even earlier than that, but we were like, 3 hours is already a lot. 3+ hours. New Year's Eve, we're doing a house party this year at a friend of a friend's. I've actually met the friend, but I don't know her super well, but she's great and she invited us, which was very sweet. It's kind of like black tie, like everybody's dressing up, so I'll probably show you guys my outfit at the end. I am wearing one of the dresses that I already showed in my Lulu's haul that I was obsessed with, the fringe one. New Year's Eve, especially in New York City, or any big city honestly, is just like such a hit or miss as far as spending money to, you know, get a ticket somewhere and then not being sure if it's gonna be fun or like you're stuck there kind of. I wanted to make this like my full 2024 goals also in the second half of this video, but I edited the part from Oregon where I was talking in the car and I talked so much and I really liked that just like as its own thing. So I feel like if I try and do the whole other thing for 2024 on top of it, it would just be a lot. So I think I might do like a little bit of chatting because I haven't fully gone through my goals and everything yet. I don't know, I really take my time. Like I don't just sit down in 1 hour and like write out everything I'm planning for 2024, whatever the next year is. Like it really takes me a couple weeks of just like talking to people, thinking through the year, reflecting. But I did want to chat a little bit. I went through Pinterest and made my vision board. I'm not like super happy with it. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I haven't set concrete goals, but I'm just like it's more of a mood board than a vision board. Like I didn't put super specific niche things. Like even last year, I think mine was a little more specific. I was definitely channeling my like 2012 Tumblr self and just like going on feelings and being like, you know what, that speaks to me. I like this feeling that this picture evokes. I did a couple travel ones. Every year I put South America on my vision board and I still have not yet made the trip. So maybe 2024. Last year what I did was on Notion. I found this girl on TikTok who made a Notion template for her yearly goals. And so I downloaded it or whatever, copied it from Notion. And I was looking back at some of the goals that I set last year. I didn't fill out every page either, but I was just like, yes, yes. Like, yes, I did some of these things, but I also just feel like I'm still on this journey. Like I 100% would just keep the same goals for like my physical health and wellness part. Like I still want to focus on getting stronger again and do more flexibility and stretching. Last year I got into yoga a little bit and I want to make that more consistent in my routine. One of my goals I would say is like getting back into doing 6 a.m. workouts because that was great, especially working from home when you have a gym in your building. It's just such a great winter routine. Like with the way that the sun sets so early, it makes the day feel so much shorter. So starting it earlier, especially if you don't even have to leave to work out, like you might as well take advantage of that. So I want to do that again. I think my fitness routine in the beginning of the year is probably going to focus more on strength training and yoga rather than cardio as much. I went to SoulCycle this morning and it was great. I went to the last Swiftie Sunday of 2023 with Andrew and it was so fun. We literally ended on, well, the like second to last song he played was New Year's Day, which of course, and we ended on Out of the Woods and it was just perfect. Like it was just like such a great, like, you know, sometimes you're at SoulCycle and the like feeling doesn't really hit you. You're just like, everyone is like screaming and throwing towels in the air and you're like, what's going on? But sometimes you're just like in it and it hits right and you're like, I feel this in my soul. That was me today. And other than that, like very basic physical goals like hydrating and focusing on my hair and skin health as I have been. And sorry, I'm looking around the camera because they were sitting on my laptop. Something that I do like about this template, I'll try and find a link to it if I can. It's by Stephanie Cowan and she has a page called Play/Adventure that I liked, and one of the prompts is like, write down 12 adventure days, like fun things that you've been wanting to do, write them down right now and then go and find a weekend and put them all in your calendar for the year. So it's like already planned out instead of just these things you always talk about, which I love. And last year I was looking at them and I did quite a few of them. The only thing I haven't done is an NBA game, but I want to try and do that before I leave. I mean, not that the NBA only exists in New York City, but I live really close to Barclays Center and I've never gone to a Nets game. I also didn't go skiing, but I don't even feel that passionately about that, so I don't know why I wrote that. I kind of want to do something like that again where it's like writing specific things that you want to do, but I'm not sure what those things are yet. And now I'm gonna have to pivot to like do things that are not based in New York. I do want to make some sort of like New York bucket list for my last month. I reached my reading goal for 2023, which was great, even though it wasn't very high. I talked about this in a previous vlog, but I only set the goal for 20 books, which is like less than one every 2 weeks. And that was attainable and I attained it. So I feel kind of like conflicted about reading goals because on one hand, I'm like, yes, it's a good way to like feel motivated when you're checking them off and like tracking what you're reading. And I've been tracking them on Notion and I really like doing that and like looking back at the types of books and like what I want to incorporate more of in my reading. But at the same time, I feel like when you set super high goals, then you kind of just like are more focused on reaching the goal than the content of what you're reading. So you'll read like a super easy, light read, but you're not like getting into the more hefty nonfiction. You don't reach for like the super hefty long books as much. And I don't want to fall into that for the sake of a reading goal. So that's why I set kind of low numbers, and also my reading fluctuates throughout the year. So I don't know, I think I'll set my goal for like 25 this year. I'm definitely in the swing of it now, but again, I'm on a break from work right now. I want to get back into regular therapy again in 2024. That was something that really helped me in the past. And although I don't think it's necessary for everyone to like be in therapy constantly, like I think it is helpful to check in with yourself and like if you have the means and ability to do it. Taking care of my health on like a more granular level. Like once I get to DC, I want to make it a priority to actually like find a primary care doctor there and make all the appointments and go through all of that. I'd love to get like my hormones tested and do more, just kind of like being more in tune with my body in that sense rather than just like the physical working out sense. I'm always wanting to work on my cortisol levels, reducing stress, inflammation, just like slowing down a little bit. I think with this move, being out of New York City, New York is just another level of chaos, which is part of the reason why I love it. But I really want to lean into the like being more relaxed, finding inner peace, meditation, just like chilling out a little bit in 2024. But still working hard and stuff. I don't know what kind of eyeshadow I'm gonna do because my dress is champagne colored, so I might do some like gold champagne. That sounds pretty easy decision. I still haven't landed on one specific word for 2024. I've been like using the word create a lot, but it still just doesn't like fully encapsulate what I want. One of the emails that I'm subscribed to that's like an astrology thing was saying that Gemini was, this year is going to be about reinvention. So I kind of like that, but I also feel like that's a little dramatic because I'm not reinventing anything. Maybe like renewal or something. That's a little less dramatic, but still kind of like, what? I don't know. We're still kicking it around. I'm gonna finish my makeup off camera and then I'll show you guys my final look before I head out for the night. I'm so excited. I love New Year's Eve so much. Like it's honestly one of my favorite holidays. And I know people have conflicting feelings about it, probably because it's like one of these things where the expectations are always up here. But I just love it, and it's so exciting and fun to like celebrate with all your friends, and even if you're not, even if you're staying home and chilling, like it's just that exciting illusion of a new beginning. I love it. So okay folks, I'm ready now. I have my coat on, which I didn't think about before filming this clip, so you can't see the dress, but this is what it looks like. I don't want to take the coat off because it has crazy static cling, so I only want to have to do that like once. Like look at that. So I don't have any dryer sheets to combat that. I put on Glamnetic falsies and I think they look okay. And I say that not as like, I didn't think their brand would look okay. I think I suck at lashes. So I'm into it. I trimmed the inside a little bit and they don't feel like they're falling off or anything. I'm gonna bring a mini mascara just in case to touch it up. But hopefully they stay for the night. Headed to the East Village for a house party. First I'm headed to my friend's apartment that's like by here, and we're gonna pregame a little bit before we go together and count down to the new year. Here's the look, static cling and all. Again, dress is Lulu's. It's like this really fun fringe dress, and knee-high boots are actually Target, and then this fur coat is a Nuuly rental. So happy new year everyone. That's gonna wrap up this vlog. Hope you enjoyed my little like 2023 reflection and a few thoughts going into the new year. Happy New Year. I hope 2024 brings peace, prosperity, love, joy, happiness, everything you want on your vision board and more. See you guys next year. Well, this will go up in 2024, so fuck it. Happy New Year. Bye.